What's cracking everybody? Money Smart Guy Matt Sapaula here, hailing to you from Dallas, Texas, and another episode here of the 7-Figure Squad podcast. I believe this is episode 53. So we're halfway, more than halfway to 100. I think 100 is the magic spot for any podcast. But in studio with me today is extraordinaire entrepreneur from the mental health background from Grambling States. One of Grambling State's finest, Kendrick Williams. What's going
on, man? How you doing, man?
Cool. So we got a killer show today, and I want to our audience to get to know you a little bit more. But interesting show today. We got a UPS driver reveals his income because the big contract they signed earlier this year about them making a lot of money, $150,000 income. Well, this UPS driver tells us the real deal. Big Macs are going up to $15. You're a Big Mac guy?
Wow, nah, used to be.
It used to be before you started making money.
Right.
What it takes really to go from part-time to full-time as an entrepreneur. This video will shock you. We'll review it in this podcast today. Pitbull on entrepreneurship versus instant gratification. What pool costs, swimming pools in your home, what it costs in 2024, something that a lot of people want in their backyards these days, especially here in Texas, because it gets hot.
Right.
It's that hot.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders exposed as a big problem in the NCAA. Those in their 40s, 40 years old, feel they need $2.7 million to retire. How much money do you think you need to retire? Well, 40-year-olds think they need 2.7. We'll unpack that a little bit. And, of course, we got to talk about Cat Williams, him dropping some major bombs and some scorched earth revelations on the Shay Shay podcast, our reaction to that too as well. So, Kendrick, before we get into it, man, tell everybody here real quick about, I know you, but tell everybody here about your background and what you're doing today.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Man, first, before we get started, man, I want to thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, for sure.
Being on a platform, and I know a lot of people see you, watch your channel, and a lot of you're a mentor to a lot, but man, I just want to tell you, I appreciate you, man to man, just not outside of business, man, mentorship. You're a great father, right? It's somebody I can follow and look up to.
My man, so I appreciate that.
But yeah, man, I grew up in New Orleans, right? Very humble beginners, man.
So it meant a lot to you when we had Master P at our event last year.
Yeah, man. I related to him.
Wow. Okay.
And some of the things that I've seen and actually done in my community, man, is the statistics of getting out of New Orleans alive or not in jail.
Wow.
is very,
wow.
It's crazy, man. But
it's not in a lot of people's favor.
Yeah, it's not. So came from New Orleans, went to school, did everything my parents told me to do, stayed away from drugs and gang violence and all that, and wound up going to Grambling State University.
By the way, thank you for taking me, was it a couple years ago, to my first ever Texas State Fair Bowl.
Yep, the Cotton Bowl.
With Grambling State and Prairie View.
Yep.
And I thought I was watching a football game.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it turned into a band contest.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm watching a band more than I'm watching the game. I'm like, is there a football game going on?
Yes.
And then you told me, watch what happens after halftime.
Yep.
Everybody started clearing out after halftime.
Yep. Half the crowd, more than half the 3/4, they leave. Quarter, they leave.
Why does that happen? No, support your team, baby. A football team needs your support, but nonetheless, continue.
Yeah. So like I said, grew up in New Orleans. Did everything my parents told me to do. Went to college, man. Did mental health for about 10 years.
Your parents still together?
Yeah, parents. Okay. Yep. Well, my parents divorced at 5. When I was 5 years old.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
So it was a co-parenting along the way. I had my mom and my dad in my corner, so they both did their part.
Amen.
Right? Yeah.
So you spent time with your dad at dad's house. Time with mom
it was crazy. It was weird. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother.
Really?
So my dad worked a lot. My mom worked a lot. I really was raised in in the house of my grandmother.
Wow.
So
was your grandfather around too as well, or just grandmother?
He was around. But like grandma was like grandma house, man. And those, like, after grandma died, it was like the family just kind of moved around. Like home was grandma house.
Wow.
It's crazy. So
was money ever talked about in your household? Grandma, mom and dad?
Not really. We knew because we knew. I don't know if you understand, like, food stamps in New Orleans.
Of
so
course.
Food stamps, you get the government cheese, the government milk, government cereal. So and when you pay with food stamps, you don't pay taxes.
That's right.
And it was now you have a card. Back then we had the food stamp book,
the actual book,
the book
versus versus the
right.
the digital card you just swipe.
Yeah. So, but humble beginners. That's what made me who I am today. So I understand not having a lot, and I understand when I get a lot, right? So Yeah.
So you're a big guy. So you went to college. You played sports.
Yeah. So I played everything in high school, but I actually got, a lot of people don't know this, Matt. You probably don't know. I got recruited to actually play baseball.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not basketball, not football, baseball.
Yeah, baseball.
Baseball. How many Latin Americans on your baseball team, HBCU?
Man, none.
Okay.
None. But yeah, man, got recruited straight out of high school. I was top 25 in the state.
Really?
And
were you more of a defensive guy, more of an offensive guy?
So a little bit of both. So
Okay.
I played first base and I played closing pitcher.
Really?
So yeah, I had over 80 mile per hour fastball.
You got a gun for an arm, a cannon.
Yeah. So we up 2-3 runs. They'll put me in the last 2 innings, something like that. Yep.
So they'll take you off first base.
Yep.
And put you on pitching mound.
Close it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
okay.
A lot of people like, you play football, you play basketball. I did, but baseball was my sport. I was just talking to my wife about this the other night, and we're just talking about the kids and how they develop cognitive development. Football is every play. You boom, boom.
Yeah.
Basketball is every play. You're running, you're gunning.
Yeah.
Baseball, there's maybe 150, 200 plays, and the ball is only hit to you maybe 5 times a game. So you have to
standing around. Yeah.
You have to understand situational
awareness.
So it's like it's a thinking game. You have to know what to do with the ball when the ball is hit to you. So kind of like life, man.
For sure. Yeah.
You got different adversity, different things coming at you daily. You got to know how to. If this happens, look, if my card overdraft, we always talk about that, right? If coming up in entrepreneurship, man, it's rough. Credit drop, bank account drop before you actually take off, man. So
man, my first baseball analogy growing up was dating. If I could get a girl first base, awesome. If I could get a girl second base, so talking about baseball with life.
There you go.
So I mean, was a process for you? I mean, to ever go pro? Were you ever thinking about going big time?
Yeah, man, that's always the goal, man. Always had big dreams to go to the next level.
Yeah.
Played 4 years of college baseball. It was kind of some favoritism there, and won't get into that, but just know the coach. His nephew played football, so when he came out, it was like, hey, man, I've been through all this spring, and he'll jump me on the depth chart. But, no excuses. I went out there, I played. Sometimes I played outfield when he played first base. So, I always had dreams to go to the next level. Got a few opportunities, didn't work out, but I'm glad it's working out now with entrepreneurship.
How did you know you wanted to study? Tell me about your degree and your master's degree.
Oh, so mental health, psychology, but a lot of people don't know this either. I started in criminal justice.
Really?
So when I played baseball.
You want to be a cop?
Man, so my dad's a police officer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so my dad did over 30 years in New Orleans, and he just retired a couple of years ago.
Wow.
So
you do that rollover with you?
Man,
Pops. Pops, I trust Kendrick with my mom's money. You should trust your son with your rollover.
Yep.
I promise you, he's in our industry in our firm. He's not going to allow you to lose any money.
Yeah.
Call your son.
Yeah. And he
use that
pension.
clip?
Yeah, he has a pension, man, and he's doing some things in the community. But yeah, man, always had dreams to go big, man, and go to the next level in anything I did.
So criminal justice, you switched to mental health.
Yes.
Did that add another year of college?
So the reason I switched, a lot of people don't know, the reason I switched was because I wasn't doing too well in my classes. My very first, when I went to college, and I got recruited, so I had a scholarship, right?
Oh, you did?
Man, so they pulled out the curriculum.
Okay.
And the highest paying job was electrical engineer.
Okay. Yeah. Kind of like Swazi. That's why Swazi became an engineer. Okay.
Exactly. So, and then the calculus started coming, and then all these tough classes, and all my teachers was foreign. I'm like,
what?
Man.
Wait. HBCU.
HBCU.
Your classes were foreign.
Yep.
Like Asian or Chinese or
Nigerian.
Indian?
It's
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a lot of it's all backgrounds. So I can't. First off, calculus is hard.
No kidding.
and
agree.
then I can't understand what the professor's saying. So I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be bad. So I didn't want to lose my scholarship. I wanted to stay on the field. So talked to my advisor at the time. He was like, man, go into criminal justice, and we went into criminal justice. And then my minor was in psychology.
So you were money motivated to choose that career path.
Yep.
Oh, that. Okay. But then you realize, oh, shit, I'm not really good at math. Sound like me, bro. Right. Let me go into law enforcement. Okay?
Right.
You're willing to take a cut
I mean,
and pay.
you do a calculus problem and it's 27 steps. Like, bro, what we...
Forget about it, bro. No, I'm not. By the way, how many guys are good at math? Put it in the comment section below. I want to know. Put math in the comment section below if you are good at math. I wonder how many viewers of our Seven Figure Squad podcast are good at math. I was not good at math. The only math I know is plus.
That's
I'm
it.
really good at multiplication.
Yeah.
I've tried to avoid it all times, minuses and subtractions, and definitely avoid at all times.
Man,
division.
I was just talking to the team yesterday, man, and I was like, man, a lot of the stuff that we learn in school, we don't use that in the real world.
Okay.
The general
all that
studies,
studying, all that wasting,
man,
all
we
the stress.
went through grade school, then you go through college.
Yeah.
I would say 75-80% of that stuff we don't use in the real world.
dump it.
Now it helps you exercise your mind and think and read and
But I would say exercising in a way that's actually gonna have some impact in our lives for real, instead of just being fillers.
Yeah.
You know, just to sell education.
Yeah.
So you got your bachelor's in mental health or psychology.
So I got my bachelor's in criminal justice and I got my master's in psychology.
Okay.
Mental
Wow.
health. Yeah.
Okay. And so what were you earning with the master's degree in psychology with your job?
Maybe base $65,000.
Doing what type of job?
So mental health.
Okay.
Mental health had a caseload where I was dealing with
Working for the state or working for a private hospital?
So it was the state.
Okay.
It was the state. Yeah. So I was dealing with kids. I focused mainly on kids. We had some adults on the caseload, but anxiety, anger issues, depression, different things like that, man. A lot of stuff that we hide. That's why I actually love that profession. And what we're doing now in the financial services, I can still, because a lot of that, the root cause of like anxiety and depression, most of it stems from the finances.
Some money.
The money. Like, we don't have enough money. So
By the way, it's going to be one of our topics today.
I'm angry. I want to take yours because you don't have. That's why crime happens. Like,
right.
It's money.
Yeah.
So I can now, tap into my community and talk about these things, and it's still on the mental health side because how good you feel when you have a pocket full of money, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Economically empowered. Provider, protector. I feel like a man.
I never understood, like, money can't make you, like, money can make you happy.
100%, bro.
Like, you have the resources to deal with other issues, so you should be happy.
In Ecclesiastes, King Solomon says, money answereth.
There you go.
And money answereth.
There you go.
All things. Not some things, all things. Now, I'm not saying it's going to make you happy, but money answers all things.
Yeah, solves a lot of problems.
Solves a lot of problems. So making $75,000. And today, what are you earning today as an entrepreneur?
Man, a little bit over $270,000, man, right now. Thanks to y'all, man. You and your wife, man, coming out here on Fate. We made that move, not knowing what was gonna happen. Took the whole family and rooted.
Bro, you take the credit. It's one thing for us to do our part, but you take the credit because you executed.
Yeah.
You did the work.
Yeah, I did the work, but I'm still grateful and have gratitude to the platform that's provided, because we know how hard this industry can be, or just entrepreneurship in general. Man, you need some people in your corner.
Yeah.
So
when would you have ever earned that type of money, $270,000 a year as a mental health professional?
Never, man.
With a master's degree.
We capped out.
Never. So that's the benefit. And by the way, we're going to be talking about this here later in the show. When is it appropriate for someone to go from a part-time entrepreneur to a full-time entrepreneur? And you'll hear Kendrick's opinions, and as we weave his story and his reactions to some of the topics we have here today. And so you'll hear some of his wisdom as we progress throughout this podcast. So let's take a look real quick at our first topic, this UPS driver. Well, UPS earlier this year, they had a new union deal. And it was saying that, a UPS driver is now making $150,000 a year as a driver. I was like, what? $150,000 a year as a UPS driver. What can Brown do for you?
Yeah.
Obviously put some green in your pocket.
Yeah.
But this UPS driver has made his name known on Instagram by revealing his checks. I mean, he's created a whole following.
Wow.
Obviously off the clock, and when he shows him in uniform in the I guess the UPS truck, that he's off the clock, that he's doing that in his own time.
Wow.
So not to violate corporate guidelines.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at what this UPS driver earns for real. Let's take a look.
Take a look at a UPS driver's pay stub, end of year edition. I can hear the comments.
End of the year edition.
Now, for
Okay.
the sake of this video, I'm going to be transparent once again,
Yeah,
one
off
last
the clock.
time, to showcase how much you can make as a UPS driver in a single year. For two reasons. First reason being, our contract was so widely publicized and there was a lot of misled information about how much a driver actually makes. Second reason being is I firmly believe UPS is a leader in the industry. Not only by the way it takes care of its employees, but the services
Good.
we
It's a
provide.
flag carrier
If you
for his
can
company.
see
Look at
UPS
him.
as a career option for yourself, then that's pretty awesome. So let's get into it. You can see my name there across the top. We're going to take a look over here at the date, 12/29/2023. The last check of the year.
1632.
We're going to look at the year-to-date totals.
Looks like it's a 7-day paycheck, a weekly paycheck.
311 hours worked for a total of $103,906. I went ahead and did the division for you, and that equals about 44 and a half hours a week. So with all that said, I hope you appreciate my videos. Thank you for watching. And if you're thinking about a career choice in UPS, I would say go for it.
Hey, good for him. Good for him. Flag carrier for the company.
Yeah.
He's really indirectly recruiting
Yeah.
for UPS. I don't see any FedEx drivers doing that. So, by the way, shout out to this guy. Amazing creativity. And you see the different angles. And so as a creator, as a content creator, you can appreciate that. The different cuts. It just wasn't a talking head.
Yeah.
It was 3 seconds here, 3 seconds there to basically keep you engaged,
yeah.
in the content.
Good
so,
marketing.
yeah, marketing,
Marketing
right?
tactics, yeah.
So they're not making $150,000 a year, as previously stated. So he's making $103,000. I assume that is different based on the market. I don't know what city and state he's at, but I assume in the more expensive markets they're going to pay him a little bit more than what they pay in other pockets of the country. But wait, what can Brown do for you? So if you want to make 6 figures. You want to make 6 figures. So basically, the guy was. So let me do the math. So he's making $16.32. It was like it was a weekly check.
Yeah, 1632
times 4. So it's $65.28 take home per month.
Okay.
So you multiply that by 12. He's making $78,336 net. So $103,000 gross, based on that check of 44 hours a week. $78,336. So you see clients on a daily basis. Yeah. Let's say this is right here in Dallas. It's $78,000 enough for the average family. Let's say two adults, two kids, enough to live on here in Dallas and any major metropolitan city.
And I think, Matt, sometimes it comes down to lifestyle too. You gotta take in lifestyle with inflation and all this stuff too. So it just depends, man, on the type of lifestyle you want. You know, do you want a 4-5 bedroom house? Can you make it with a 2-bedroom house? Can you go eating twice a day rather than 4 times a day?
Sure.
I mean, it's lifestyle, I would say, but. Kudos to the UPS guy, man. Doing what he can do for his family. But at the end of the day, man, we know that America doesn't have a savings problem; it's an income problem. So by him even sharing his platform to actually be a flag carrier for UPS, I mean, he should get a raise just for that.
Yeah. I'd also say though, in addition to income problem, sure, I completely understand the wage gap. Or the wage growth or lack thereof. But we are so easily sold to here in America. I mean, there's so many things to buy, bro. I mean, there's so many things to. It's so hard to earn, but so easy to spend.
Tell me about it.
Like I tell people, how many apps on your phone do you have to spend money?
Right.
How many apps on your phone that's easy for you to one-click buy?
Right.
But how many apps on your phone bring in money?
Receive money.
Yeah, how do you receive money? So when I'm looking at $78,000 a year, by the way, what do you think? What is the average income in your city and state? And is that enough for you to live on based on your lifestyle, based on your family? Because the other thing I would say, though, so America also has a spending problem.
Yes.
The government has a spending problem. Our municipalities, our cities have a spending problem. I mean, there's so many things that our country is spending now that a lot of us don't even agree with. Like for me, I can't give what I ain't got. So I got to take care of my house. I got to take what was going on under my roof. And so the sad reality is when people bring home $78,000 a year, what's the natural disposition? Do they spend $60,000 and save the $18,000, or what do they do? They spend 90.
Yeah.
They spend 100,000. I mean, you see that with clients on a daily basis.
Yeah. And that goes back. My dad always taught me, man, to save money and buy what you need rather than what you want. So that's why I say it's all about lifestyle. The person who makes 70 take home 78 in the same city with inflation may be able to save more because of different habits, different lifestyle. That putting kids. One person might be say, hey, I want to put my kid in public school. This one, hey, private school. So just different values and principles, lifestyle. that takes consideration too. But of course, inflation kicking everybody butt.
Yep.
So it shows that over 70% of people are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Exactly.
that same person, the same guy versus another UPS guy in the same department, same pay, may be living. This guy may be able to be save $1,000 every month versus $200 every month. It just depends.
Your average client, what are they tucking away on a monthly basis? Your
average client, when I do discretionary, maybe the average anywhere. It depends on the market. You know, I'm getting a little bit into different markets now. But when I first started, man, I mean, some people not saving anything, man. $50 to $100.
And they're adults.
They're adults, man. 30s, 40s. But
they grown. They still barely tuck away $100, $200,
man. So,
and by the way, you're not going to get it. It's good that you can save $100, $200 a month.
Yeah.
But that's not going to get you to become rich. It's not going to get you even close to even half rich, quarter rich.
No.
And now,
now as we, my wife and I became a little bit more experienced and know how to get through different markets. I say the average client can save maybe $1,000, $1,500 every month.
Wow! Look at you. So in other words, you have a different clientele.
Yeah.
What's the average income of your clientele?
Maybe between 80, 120.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So would this guy be a client? This UPS driver would be?
He'd be about average. Yeah.
Right? He'd be an average client too.
But realistically, I love doing what I'm doing because I'm still tapped into the community, but. We have internal, we have external sales, but internally, I'll say, the people who we get into the agency and we get into those families, they saving about $100, $200 a month, man.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. I was mentioning this at a workshop the other day. I said, hey, all of you up in front, is money the issue in America? Like, is the financial problem in America income? Right? Because right now, if I all gave you $1 million. Right? If myself, the government, of some entity gave you all, the 10 of you right here in front of the workshop, $1 million between the 10 of you, this time next year, who's going to make that into 10 million? How many of you guys going to make that into 500,000?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And they all looked at each other, right? Like, yeah, because y'all know your spending habits.
It goes back to lifestyle. Yeah.
Goes back to lifestyle. So it's not necessarily the money issue; it's the mindset behind money. And but let's go ahead and continue and poke some holes in my theory, though. Let's look at this other video where the multicultural median income in America based on your ethnic demographic. So let's take a look at this video. What do we make?
Household income in the United States by ethnic group. Starting off at the bottom of our ranking, in the 10th position, we find African Americans with a median income of $35,000. Moving up to the 9th spot, Hispanic Americans have a median household income of $43,000. Continuing to the 8th position, Nepali Americans follow with a median income of $43,500. For reference, the average American come with a median household income of $56,200. Climbing up to the 7th position, Korean Americans have a median income of $59,200. Now let's focus on the 6th position, where white Americans have a median household income of $59,900. Advancing to the 5th position, Pakistani Americans secure a place in our ranking with a median income of $66,200. Stepping into the 4th position, Chinese Americans have a median income of $69,100. Moving up to the 3rd position, Japanese Americans come in with a median income of $72,300.
So Chinese, Japanese.
Following closely in the 2nd position, Taiwanese Americans have a median income of $82,500. Finally, at the top of our ranking, claiming the 1st position,
don't tell me Filipino.
Indian Americans lead with a remarkable median household income of $105,000. Truly impressive.
So the top 4 are Asian. Indian, Taiwanese, Chinese, Japanese, Asian in America making the most money. Let's unpack that. Why? What do you think? By the way, I didn't go to college, so but what? If I did go to college in Chicago, it'd be called UIC. I'm sorry, UIC, UCI. Basically, University of Illinois Circle Campus, downtown Chicago, UIC, right? And they called it University. They used to jokingly call it the University of Indians and Chinese, because all the professors and all the students, all the people that were leading there were all Indians and Chinese. They were professors teaching there. So, I mean, you went to college. What was? You mentioned foreigners.
I grew up in New Orleans and. All the gas stations were owned by foreigners. All the corner stores, mom and pop stores, Asians. So I never really understood how they
Yep.
could move their family here to the U.S. and just take over, like, you know. So when you dig deeper, I think it comes back to, you know, getting business, because how is it that our culture, we can get approved for thousands of dollars of student loan, but not thousands of dollars of business credit?
Sure. But but is that, well, you know, I mean, there's been stories about redlining, black ownership and black home ownership, where black businesses don't get mortgages for obviously systemic racial indifferences.
Yeah.
Right. So have you experienced that? Have you seen that?
I haven't personally experienced it, but I know it's happening just from different conversations in the community. And
All I'm saying is, I'm asking that question seriously, because you went from $70,000 income.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
To
yeah.
$280,000 income,
Yeah.
$270 in income.
Yeah, well now, I mean, if you not making a way for yourself, man, we would call it like you being lazy today. Nobody's,
sure.
But
Sure.
of course, according to history and different things that's going on, of course, redlining happens and different things like that. But that's why we do what we do, man, to let people know it doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter, you know, where you come from, you can win.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. Do a lot of Indians own businesses? Mm-hmm. They do, right? You just mentioned gas stations and 7-Elevens, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Do Taiwanese own businesses?
Of course.
Yeah, we have medical practices. And
Of course.
Do Chinese own businesses?
Of course.
Do Japanese own businesses?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
There it is.
Yep.
So those forging Asian demographics, and everybody can laugh about stereotypes. They could be jokes. Comic comedians bring it up. Jokes. We have our jokes behind closed doors. We laugh amongst ourselves.
Most definitely.
But those demographics and certain demographics, jokes are funny and sometimes not so funny, but sometimes they're true.
Yeah.
And if more people in the top 4 income here we just saw are more predisposed to owning businesses than working for somebody, then it kind of tells you where you should be in terms of making moves. For example, all the stimulus money, 80% of all money printed in the history of America has been printed in the last 3-4 years.
Yep.
A ton of capital. I just asked a chief investment officer from an insurance company, do you think the market is going to recover this year? So there's too much fake money in the marketplace today.
Yeah.
But what happened? Money flooded the marketplace. Money from government came into all of our homes across America.
Yeah.
And a company called LVHM beats everybody else in terms of the top company. LVHM, Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy.
Okay.
Right? And what do they own? LVMH controls Tiffany & Company, Christian Dior, Fendi, Givenchy, Marc Jacobs, Louvre, Laura Perrone, Kenzo, Celine, Sephora, Tag, Bulgari,
Yeah.
right? Obviously Louis, obviously Moet, and obviously Hennessy.
Yeah.
So who buys those products? Taiwanese?
Nope.
Indians?
Nope.
Japanese?
Not at all.
Chinese?
Man.
Who buys
You're
them?
right.
Who buys them?
Black Americans.
Black and Latinos.
Yep. Black.
And where are they on the top 10 income demographics in America?
Bottom of the barrel.
9 and 10.
There you go.
Because instead of establishing business like you are,
Yeah.
they're out there spending money.
Yeah.
And so that's something that stings, but that's what the data is showing.
Yeah. I mean, numbers don't lie. I mean, the numbers in your face, man. It goes back to where you grow up, what you see on a daily basis. When I grew up, I seen people with the nice shoes, the nice clothes, the nice cars, you know, tattoos.
Sure.
Those were the things that we saw on the regular, and that's the music that we listen to.
Sure.
We want to be just like, you know, Nelly, you know, Nelly
Sure.
Came Tower.
Yeah.
We want to be like we want to spend money. We want to
Master
look
P.
good. Master P.
Snoop.
So
all those guys, Athletes.
those other cultures, the backgrounds, they're from day one. They're exposing their kids and their family to businesses.
Bingo.
Makes sense. So it's all about mindset and how we view money. So I'm glad that I was able to get into this industry so I can understand money, and I can teach my community how money actually works.
Are more Asian families predisposed to staying together as husband and wife?
Most
Asian families that you observe more predisposed to being more disciplinarian?
Yeah.
That's their culture, right?
Yeah, the culture.
Are more Asian Americans predisposed to having families that stick together?
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting reality there. And by the way, do you agree with us? You don't agree with us? We want to know. Please put it in the comment section below. If we could take a look at my screen here, Andrew, take a look at my screen here. Almost half, 46% of adults who do not have children and do not want to have a child in the future pointed to the personal financial situation as a reason. Almost half, 74% of Americans say they are stressed about finances.
Yep.
Meanwhile, 1 in 2 Americans say their overall financial situation is worse now than it was before Biden was elected. By the way, I've been seeing a lot of just news out there that there's so many Democrats that are flipping to Trump. I think CNN even reported that. Yeah, okay, Trump's ahead on the polls.
Yep.
Farrakhan denounced Biden and says, go Trump.
Yep.
Crazy stuff, right? Since November 2020 presidential election, Americans have encountered numerous challenges in recovering from the economic impacts of COVID-19. These include surging inflation, increasing interest rates, and wages that fail to keep pace. A recent survey by Bankrate reveals that 50% of U.S. adults feel their overall financial situation is worse than it was 3 years ago, aligning with the time frame of the November 2020 general election. These economic hardships are expected to significantly influence votes in the 2024 presidential election, with 89% of Americans stating that handling the economy will be a crucial factor in their voting decisions. Interestingly, discussions about President Biden's impact on the economy has been divisive. Approximately 67% of Republicans and 59% of independents believe their personal financial situation has deteriorated since November 2020, while only 31% of Democrats share their sentiment. On the flip side, has your income deteriorated?
No, man. It actually increased, man. Since coming to Dallas, man, when we made that move, because we were starting the office in Louisiana.
But you made moves before the pandemic.
Yeah. And
like financial moves, I mean.
Yeah, financial moves. So we came to Dallas making a little bit over $50K.
Wow.
Right? And a year and a half later, over $270. So
yeah.
I mean.
So in other words, you can't say, hey, man, my financial situation isn't worse because of Biden. My financial situation because of me.
Yep. Taking ownership.
So whatever you hear in the media, of course, the Democrats and the Republicans will have their shots. Oh, that's why you need to vote Democrat. Oh, that's why you need to vote Republican. I've always been about my house.
Yeah.
So no matter, I made money with Democratic president, I made money with Republican president, and no matter what goes on in the White House, the most important, no matter what goes on in the White House, the most important thing is what goes on in your house.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the economic situation in America is important. By the way, my priority of voting, I was putting together my economic thought, my policy thoughts here about who I'm going to vote for later in the year. At the top of the list is economic policy.
Yeah.
If your economic policy sucks, you don't got my vote.
Yeah.
If it's meant to create jobs by instigating entrepreneurship, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So entrepreneurs have obviously changed things in your life. Even though everybody out there that's been waiting for a wage has been getting hurt. What would you say to somebody out there that may be in this situation, Kendrick? They're like, all right, I don't want kids because of my economic situation. I don't want to save for retirement because I'm living paycheck to paycheck. What would you say?
I mean, for myself, I think it comes to it's about favor too, because I think some people are exposed to different opportunities and some people are not. So there's so many people out there that needs our help that we can go into that household and tell them, hey, we have a solution for you to increase your income.
Yep.
Right. It just is what it is. I mean, I have a master's degree and I still found myself living paycheck to paycheck. Like, so it's not about, like, you can do everything right.
Right.
Like, if you're watching this, like, you can do everything right. How is it that you can do everything right? Stayed out of trouble, you went to school, you got that good college degree, but you still living paycheck to paycheck.
Come on.
How is it?
Yep.
So we have to get out into the community. That's why we love what we do.
That's right.
And go show people, hey, there's a way to increase your income within entrepreneurship. Yeah. And then it's crazy. It's on a part-time basis because I was still, when I got into the industry, I was still going to work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Until you different mentorship calls. Hey man, have this amount of savings before you go full time and different things like that. So man, I would tell that family, man, hey, you have to take control of your finances, man. And it doesn't matter who's in office. Yeah. Now, of course, you vote in favor of where you at in life, but at the end of the day, like you say, it's all about whoever has the best policy economically. That's what we're voting for as entrepreneurs.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and you don't vote to be popular. You don't go vote to be to follow the follow the herd. And speaking of which, people are complaining, hey, government bail me out, government bail me out, government bail me out. Government was supposed to be to bail you out.
Yeah.
Actually, government here to protect you, not to bail you out.
Yeah.
The government's here to protect you, so therefore you can do your thing. Provide some barriers for entry, barriers for you not to get bullied, so therefore you can go out and do your thing. So with that being said, if you're waiting for the government to change your life, look what the politicians have done to the minimum wage. They keep increasing it because that's what many people are voting for. Increase the minimum wage. Increase the minimum wage. Increase the minimum wage. Well, they've increased the minimum wage. In return, guess how the businesses have responded? Let's take a look at this article on my screen. Price of Big Macs could go up to $15. When was the last time you had a Big Mac?
Man, it's been a while. It's been a while, man. Right? It's been a while,
but Big Macs are $15. Here's why. As half the states in the country raise their hourly minimum wage, American fast food staples like McDonald's, Big Mac, is sort of $15, predicts an economic analyst. Companies are either going to have to raise prices, start to reduce those labor costs, or a combination of both. So what's the combination of both? So what do we see out in Fort Worth? You remember we see I saw an article. I saw Fort Worth McDonald's.
Yeah.
Majority, where are we seeing McDonald's today? Are more people being employed there, or are they installing cashier stations?
Yeah.
We order at the front.
Yeah, self-checkout.
Self-checkout. You know what I saw also in Fort Worth? Not only was self-checkout, but also robots back there cooking hamburgers and frying fries.
Wow.
So they're eliminating jobs.
Wow.
That's how the businesses are responding, because the business owners are saying, listen, if we're forced to do this, we can't control these labor costs. I got to find a solution. So therefore, these labor costs, the fattest line item on my spreadsheet, I can reduce the labor costs. Now, business owners, they will still want to create jobs.
Yeah.
But they're being forced in a predicament like, do I keep raising my prices?
Yep.
Because I still got to create a product that's still affordable that people want to buy. So in order for me to pay higher wages, guess what they got to do?
Yep.
They got to increase
everything else. Yep.
The cost of goods and services. Yep. So that's what's going on there. Speaking of which, guess what else is going up? Let's take a look at the pool costs. So if you're out there and you want to build a pool for the summer, guess what is going on here? Let's take a look at what this pool builder says here in Houston, Texas.
In 2024, in Houston, Texas, a Regal pool is going to start at around $100,000. There's no more $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 pools. That was a decade ago. With inflation and the added cost of expense of materials and job labor and all these things, our pools this year are starting at $100,000.
Bingo. Simple. See, there it is. So it's affecting Big Macs, affecting luxury items, because what did you just say in the middle?
Materials.
Cost of materials.
Cost of materials, yeah.
And the reason why we're also having a housing shortage is the cost of materials.
Yeah.
Because if I'm a home builder and it used to cost me X amount of square feet to build a house. Now it costs me a lot more to build a square foot house. Where's my opportunity to make money?
There you go.
So, what happens when you allow government to come in and set market versus the free markets setting the market? This is what happens. So going forward, my hope is, as you're watching the 7 Figure Squad podcast, that you have the disposition of less dependence on government for anything and more dependence upon and resourcefulness upon you. When you made that shift to become more resourceful on you, when you had less money starting, and by the way, it was a miracle to go from 50,000 to 750. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Was it?
No. So when you think about that, Matt, and you're talking about depending on the government, because I've been on both ends. I've been where, like I said, I grew up in my grandmother's house where the government provided food stamps because my grandmother was disabled.
Okay.
She couldn't work, so she relied on food stamps and Social Security, right? But now I understand there's more opportunity, because I read here on CNBC, it's saying that the next generation, millennials, we're replacing our grandmothers and grandfathers who had less education and less, they didn't know more about the opportunities out there now that's available. So, like I said, I've been on both sides where we relied on the government.
Yeah.
But now being, part of,
being financially literate.
Exactly. Now I know how money works, because it's really BS, Matt, to say that, like, black people have money. Don't get
for
it
sure.
twisted. We have money. It's just what we spend our money on. What's a priority to us, right? Like you said, we'll buy the Louis Vuitton. We'll buy, all the expensive.
There's money in the hood.
There's money. There's money out there. The cleanest person you'll see is in the hood. Fresh
That's right.
J's, fresh shirt, fresh haircut, fresh everything.
Fresh J's.
So
Yeah.
think about it. If we put that energy into understanding how money works and spending our money right and actually investing in the things that we need to
Yep.
and going into so entrepreneurship for me, man, it was an easy switch because I didn't want to rely on the government. I don't want my kids to ever think that, hey, we need to rely on the government and just because we vote a check gonna come to our front door, right?
Yep.
So,
By the way, I'm looking for data here. That by the way, if you guys know the data of how much economic power is in the Black community,
a lot, man.
That's
That's a lot.
Obviously, hundreds of billions. But like I went in Chicago, in the hood, right there, at Madison, Pulaski.
Yeah.
Massive businesses
Yeah.
there. I mean, Foot Locker, House of Hoops,
Yeah.
right there. So the top box brand names are in the hood,
Yeah.
in the west side of Chicago,
Yeah.
and everybody
Yeah.
from Chicago know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So there's obviously money in the hood.
Of course. Rick Ross, I was watching something on social media, and Rick Ross, the guy was asking, he was saying, hey, man, here on this report, they have your net worth at this. And he was like, he laughed. He was like, hey, man, that's not even close. So these entertainers and people who have money, they're not even reporting what they actually make, right? So there's money out there.
Let's take a look at my screen. I just Googled this real quick. Black purchasing power could jump from right now it's 976 billion, almost $1 trillion. 976 billion to a potential 1.6 trillion in the United States. So there's not a lack of income coming into the Black community.
Exactly.
It's how we spend it.
It's how we spend it. That goes back to priority, understand how money works in your lifestyle, right? So
This is from the St. Louis Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
So that's not like it's a hack website.
Right.
It's from the Federal Reserve.
So there's money out there, man, in our community. It's just that we have to get into those communities. I have to get into those
They need to call
homes.
you. They need to call Kendrick, man. He'll turn your life
Call me,
around, baby.
man.
Let's
Call
go.
me. Call me. I'm here. And whoever thought that this industry would change my wife and I's life? Because like I said, we went through school.
What do you think about insurance people growing up?
Man, so what's crazy, and I always share this, is I can remember playing outside as a kid, and I can remember the insurance man driving by, knew how his car looked, everything. So
really,
I used to hate when he come because I had to stop the game. Hold on, time out, and I'll run inside and tell, hey, grandma, because I grew up.
the
with
insurance
my grandma.
man's here.
Yeah,
To collect premium.
the insurance man here.
Wow.
So, but I never put two and two together. Always had a nice car, nice clothes. He'll come in for coffee, collect the premium, sit down with my grandmother for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and leave out.
Wow.
Right?
So what demographic? Was he white? Was he black?
White.
He was white.
White.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's
You would make your grandmama proud today.
right.
She passed away though.
Yeah, she passed away.
She's cheering you on from heaven, brother.
Yeah, thank you. So my first year in college, 2003, she passed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Goodness
So,
gracious.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, thank goodness there's, insurance agents have done, the insurance industry has done a poor job in recruiting new talent.
Yeah.
That's why other insurance companies love us.
Yeah.
That's why they try to poach our guys.
Yeah.
Right? Because we take guys from scratch to getting a license to have some success in the industry, whereas these insurance guys, the traditional insurance industry, like they're extremely lazy in terms of recruiting, training, developing new talent. That's what we do best.
That's what we do.
Right? Obviously, from your scenario, I mean, look at me, no college degree, 2.2 GPA in high school, ends up building a business. And, I was sharing with you the numbers on Monday for our Monday morning full-timers, but in the last 8 years, we paid out to our guys over $88 million in commissions. Wow. Not me, out to our guys the last 8 years. Talk about economic empowerment, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, you're part of that number.
Yeah.
So like, I can't wait for you to start showing you in the next 2, 3, 4 years
Yeah.
how many multi-millions of economic empowerment you've shared with your guys, and because you've equipped them, right, to be better providers, protectors of the family, and less dependent upon government, more dependent upon you. Today, by the way, today, fast forward, there's economic or government dependency back when you were growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Today, how much government dependency do you have?
Zero.
Zero. That's the way it should be.
Zero.
And the only thing you depend on the government is to have good roads,
Yeah.
hospitals, schools,
Yeah.
911,
Yeah.
right? Those type of things. So let's talk about what Pitbull here said about entrepreneurship. Because, by the way, we talk about the world of entrepreneurship. It's not, walking the rose garden. Sometimes you got to smell shit before you just smell the roses. So what did Pitbull here say about entrepreneurship?
You're in the world of instant gratification. Forget about entrepreneurship. Because what comes quick leaves quicker. Entrepreneurship and hustling is about a slow but a for sure. That's what you want. Don't let these boys fool you and make you think that something just happens that quick. You gotta understand, there's no magic to this. There's no secret sauce, no secret formula. Hard work pays off. You put in the time, and time will pay you back. But if you think one way or another you're just gonna microwave some kind of opportunity / entrepreneurship or business and startup, and you think it's gonna pay you back like that, it's gonna pay you exactly what you did.
King Solomon, the richest and wisest king who ever lived, wrote in Proverbs. These are my top 3 favorite anti-get-rich-quick Proverbs. Number 1, Proverbs 13, verse 11. Wealth from get-rich-quick schemes quickly disappears. Wealth from hard work grows over time. That's what you've been doing. Yeah. One who is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. And one who is dishonest in very little is also dishonest in much. That's from Luke 16, chapter 16, verse 10. Back to Proverbs. A hard worker has plenty of food, but a person who chases fantasies ends up in poverty. The trustworthy person will get a rich reward, but a person who works and wants quick witches will get into trouble. Last one. The trustworthy person will get a rich reward, but a trustworthy person will get a rich reward, but a person who wants get rich quick schemes will get into trouble. There it is. That's King Solomon, the richest and wisest king ever lived, right? These are the original mean tweets.
That's powerful, man. That's powerful. Because when we got into the business, and I didn't have a background in business before I came here, and you taught us to understand delayed gratification. That's why I stuck around. I mean, because you come into, you see, we got leaders making 80, 100 grand a month. I'm like, can I really do it? You always had that self-doubt. So that's our area of focus. But I think in order to understand that, it's 5 components that you need to develop as a leader to even go into entrepreneurship. Because if you think it's going to happen overnight, you don't start.
Break it down, bro.
But so the first thing is mental toughness, right? So that's the ability to come over adversity, distractions, and show up no matter what and be dependable.
Yep.
No matter what happens in your life, Matt, you're a leader of many.
Yes.
You have to show up. You can have your life can be a mess personally, but you're a real leader, so you have to have mental toughness. You got to snap out of it. I got to show up.
Can't be a pansy.
Can't. Spiritual growth, believing and having faith. If you don't believe that you can do something, because it's what Swazo said it one day, and he said, as long as you have 51% right belief and that 49% self-doubt, right?
Your head,
right? Because we always have self-doubt. Then physical fitness and diet, right? That's big.
We were working out at the gym the other day, baby.
Yep, working out at the gym. Let's go, right? Building endurance and staying healthy. That's a distraction. If I'm hurt, I'm sick, I can't show up. And then you have emotional control, right? You got character, conflict resolution, remaining coachable, building relationships, even though they may not last.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the tough part.
And just appreciating them for the season they are in your life.
Exactly. So, and then the 5th thing is competence and skill level. Being a professional and student of your industry and perform at a high level. So if you have those 5 components, Matt, what Pitbull just talked about, man, you have the tools to wait for that delayed gratification, man. Because on the other side, man, we just getting started. Yeah. And we know it's more delayed gratification waiting for us.
For sure. Bro, I was making $500,000 a year at the age of 42 years old before I bought my first pair of J's. And now I got J's. I mean, before it was Roshis. Yeah. Air Force Ones. I wasn't, it was a New Balance. You know, I got pictures of me wearing New Balance because they were comfortable. I don't wear dress. I can't wear dress shoes. It just my feet just feel all crunched up.
Yeah.
But I was 42 doggone years old, and then on top of it, I didn't buy my first pair of Jordans. Patrick gave it to me. He awarded it to me for being part of the Dream Team.
Wow.
So after that, my reward after that says if I have a personal goal that I hit every month, I'm gonna get a pair of J's.
Yep.
If I do 50% of that goal, I'm gonna get 2 pairs of J's. So I was growing at 150% every month for 3 years in a row, and what happened?
Yeah.
My J collection just started blowing up.
So to talk about, I just shared a post on Facebook that Patrick posted. He said most people don't have an income problem; they have a spending problem.
Of course, yeah.
I know people who only make $90,000 a year and have more in savings and assets than someone making $500,000 a year.
That's right.
Change your relationship with money. Delay upgrading your lifestyle as long as you could.
That's right.
He just posted that 14 hours ago.
And by the way, I'm wearing Bulls. I'm from Chicago. I wasn't wearing Bull gear. I wasn't wearing just do it type of stuff. Matter of fact, I saw all the kids in school wearing Bulls jackets and starter jackets. They're getting robbed. They're getting jumped for the kicks. And that's why I never bought that stuff in high school.
You know how many people got killed, Matt, in New Orleans and probably across the country, but I knew it was
For
really
gear.
For starter jackets.
Stupid.
Like my mom would buy us starter jackets and not let us wear them unless we were with her. Like, no, you're not wearing that to school.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna wear that starter. You're gonna like it was crazy. Yeah. Like people really lost their lives. Like starter jackets are not even in style. So people really lost their lives years ago for a trend that's not even.
Because back to the point, instead of showing people how to create their own bread, how to make their own bag, they're going to take it from somebody else.
Take it from somebody else.
And that's what entrepreneurs do. And we want to instill entrepreneurship. That's what capitalism does. Capitalism says it doesn't care if you're white, you're black, you're brown, you're Asian. It's who's better in the marketplace. No. We care about one color.
Green, baby.
Grain. We care about one race.
Human race.
That's it.
Let's do it.
It's all capitalism and entrepreneurship cares about. Now, some of you guys, well, Matt, what about this? But no, that's crony capitalism. And any type of good thing, there's always an element of a bad thing. I'm just focused on the pure elements of entrepreneurship and capitalism. Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, let's go look at this clip about this woman who's a little bit overzealous about her business, and she went from part-time to full-time. Let's take a look at this clip.
I quit December 6th of last year, gave a 2-month notice. February 1st of this year, I went into, that was my last day, handed over my laptop and went into full-time entrepreneurship.
Good. This is exciting, man. So you've been a full-time entrepreneur for 10 months. Mm-hmm. How much money have you made in 10 months?
$1,000.
Huh?
Total.
Not a month.
Yeah, are you married?
No.
You live with your parents?
I moved back home. I sold my house last year. I had a house, and
I was trying to figure out how you survive.
Yes, I had it.
Wow.
So I think she should have stuck up for herself a little bit more.
Yeah.
That awkward silence that he had, he's trying to the math and type look.
Yeah.
So the challenge sometimes we have as entrepreneurs, that's sometimes a bad rap why people don't start entrepreneurship, because they transition too soon before they're ready to go. What would be your parameters? You coach a lot of people. What would be your parameters to say, okay, now you're ready to go full time?
Man, we have a playbook, Matt, and
we
and,
do.
A lot of mentorship came from you. Just my wife and I being on calls with you and just processing different things. You have to strategically transition into entrepreneurship. So even in our field, and I don't know what she's doing as an entrepreneur, but I know for us, most of our guys are part-time and they transition full-time. For me, like I stated earlier in the segment, I went 10 months part-time before I went full-time. And the thing was, hey man, you need to have 30, 50K saved up before you transition. You have the good month, you have a bad month, but like you said, she should have stuck up more, because we don't know her situation, we don't know her vision. It's probably frowned upon right now, like, man, you lost everything, you sold your house, you made $1,000 in 10 months. Sure. But hey, let's have this conversation 4 or 5 years from now.
Yeah. That's where I thought she should have stuck up for herself. Yeah. She should just casted that vision. She goes, hey, it's not looking pretty right now, but these are the contracts I got going on. These are the deals I got going on. These are projects I'm working on. Sadly, I'm sucking wind right because I'm living off the savings of selling my house. But I think that's a situation where, by the way, that's the downside to it. You sold an asset to live off. The asset should be continuing to kick you income, not living off you're eating away that principle. Which I want to go into the next topic here. Deion Sanders says there's an NCAA problem with a lot of athletes right now because a lot of these get some cash.
That'd have been awesome, man. I mean, just and everything evolves over time. Just having that scholarship, Matt, to go to school for free.
Yeah.
I was
enough
grateful.
compensation.
I was grateful at the time, but now you see, everything evolves over time. It's kind of like I have a younger brother, and we grew up. We got our butt whipped when we did something, right?
Yeah.
And now, my mom's a little older. She's a little seasoned. She's like, "Hey, man, talk to your brother."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Whip his butt like you used to whip our butt." Right? So my point is, everything evolves over time. So, like, I didn't have a cell phone when I went off to college. My brother had a cell phone since he was in middle school. So everything, you can't look back and say, "Man, you owe me. I should have had a cell phone in middle school." So it's good thing for now these college players are getting paid because they're bringing in thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to these universities.
Yep.
I mean, especially you play football, basketball at a D1, and you're attracting people. And you should be compensated. But
Archie Manning, for the purpose of him being a decent quarterback, but having a Manning last name, is making. I think he's making like $3-4 million a year. He's making multi-million dollars a year as a college backup quarterback at Texas. Then Brock Purdy, starting quarterback for the 49ers, Mr. Irrelevant, because he's making around $700,000, $800,000 a year as a quarterback, last pick in the draft.
Wow!
So there's now college players are getting. They're getting paid.
Getting paid.
So there's a problem, though. So Deion Sanders has a problem with this. He created this video to the NCAA.
NCAA, you got a little problem. Let me explain. See, with the NILs, which really ain't NIL because there ain't no name, image, and likeness. It's just pay-per-view right now. That's what they doing to the big boys. Little boys, we can't compete with that. But anyway, you got a problem. See, when you start paying athletes like they're professionals, you get athletes acting like they're professionals. And you don't have staffs large enough and equipped enough to handle a young man with money. Let me go deeper. Handle a young man that's making more money than some of the coaches on staff. You got a real problem. So I suggest to you to allow college teams to hire more qualified men. Qualified that could handle these young men that's getting this money.
That's why they need you, Kendrick.
Wow.
So calling all former college athletes that would love to have a career to help these men that you know their walk, you've been in the locker room, and you know how to have a conversation with these guys on how to handle their ducats, their cash, their money. We need to recruit you to equip you with the knowledge and the system and the playbook that we have so that we can go back to these college athletes to talk to them about money. Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, we hear you. I know you're easy to find. We're answering the call. We're looking for coaches that aren't making that type of money that would love to have a dabble into the insurance industry to go in to these locker rooms. That's it. They need you.
Man, that's crazy, man. He has a point. I mean, you have. I mean, and sometimes these, you knuckleheads already, and you're the big man on campus. You show it out for the game.
Yeah.
You don't show up to class the next day.
Yeah.
The professor will write you off because you're the big time guy. But like you said, I mean that ego. They need to get qualified people and to check that ego.
Yeah.
And have them focus on the main thing.
Well, his son, the bottom, the text right there. His son is making over $4 million a year to play college quarterback.
That's crazy.
And so early in the year, it was a FaceTime. He was on the phone with his dad.
Yeah.
Shedeur was on the phone with his dad and Tom Brady. And Tom was, hey, can you tell my son about this this Phantom? Can you get him out of the Phantom? No, Dad, it's not a Phantom. It's a Cullinan. Right? Well, whatever it is. And Tom Brady said, oh, you need a guy to have Phantom who can study some game tape.
Wow.
So imagine the GOAT trying to tell your son, get out and study some game tape.
That's a huge distraction, man.
Major.
That's a huge distraction. And like you said, I don't know, I'm pretty sure Deion is coaching his son to have character and different things like that. But man, when you got to remember these guys are 18, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Young with, imagine us with
Not good at all, bro.
$4 million.
Shador, I think, is a little bit ahead of the game because he kind of grew up with money.
True.
He grew up with the fame.
Well, his parents had money, so he doesn't know how to manage money.
Correct.
But he made, they had that influence in the house. But,
yeah, correct. And I think he's more willing to listen to other people that his dad, because he's been coaching his entire life. Yeah, but well, if you got an NIL deal, you got an NIL contract, and you're watching this, man, and you need some help with your personal finances, reach out to the 7 Fear Squad podcast, and we'll connect you with some men, some professionals that can handle your personal finances and the celebrity status you have. So the last thing I want to talk about, let's take a few minutes to talk about this, but I don't have a video on this, but Cat Williams took shots on the Shay Shay podcast and was basically bringing scorched earth to the comedy industry, to Hollywood. And so here's some people he called out during, if we can take a look at my screen, Andrew. So he called out, if you guys haven't watched the Cat Williams podcast, he called us some major players in the comedy world, the comedy industry, as well as Hollywood. He called out Steve Harvey. He called out Cedric the Entertainer. I'm just paraphrasing all this stuff right now for lack of time on this podcast. He called out Ricky Smiley.
Yeah.
He called out, who else he called out? He called out Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Called him an industry plant.
Yeah.
That he had no business having those type of deals in LA, even though his career was built on the East Coast, that he was an industry plant. He called out Jonathan Majors about what happens when they prop you up and when they don't want you there anymore. So they're going to find a way to build you, and they're going to find a way to take things out if you don't build it with your own, your own grit. Michael Blackson, he gives some shit about faking and being faking, I think, an African accent. Just be kind of like be you. Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
He called it Tyler Perry. What? Why? Because he made his life playing a woman.
Yeah.
13 movies playing with Medea, and then Ludacris. So listen, I only know this from observation. I kind of can tell what happens when somebody is envious. I kind of tell when somebody has been passed up, that he feels a lot of these guys passive on. He's kind of calling these guys out, and I'll get my other thoughts, but what's your initial thoughts when you saw this go down? 42 million views in 5 days. Crazy, broke the internet.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Shout out to Shannon Sharp, man, for that, man.
He's like Hercules. 600,000 new subscribers
to
his podcast from that one interview.
Wow. But yeah, Matt, he called it out, and a lot of the responses that I saw, they didn't say he was lying. Mm-hmm. They didn't say he was lying, but I mean,
not one person said he's lying.
Not one person said he's lying, and
I have yet to hear it.
Yeah,
he's not lying.
They didn't say he was lying. They called him bitter. They called him, but I don't, we wasn't there. We don't know. But for him to call out, those are some big names, man.
Huge names.
That's some big names. And like, hey, Steve Harvey, like y'all thought that was a fresh lining. That's a wig. That was
a wig, toupee.
Toupee the whole time. And we like, man, we pride ourselves on we going to the barbershop. We going to get the Steve Harvey lining, right? And then they showed the clip of Cedric Entertainer, his last joke, doing it on stage, and they showed Cat doing it on stage. So kind of took his
joke from that from a few years. So I mean, few years prior to that.
I didn't watch all of it, but I watched some of it, and it seemed like he has some good points. But hey, he called them out, and let's see what happens.
I also looked up, the net worth of Cat Williams. He's not as rich as a lot of people think he is, but he was also saying, whatever you read on the internet, I'm richer than that. So he also said that I'm richer. I'm one of the richest men on earth. That's what he said. Okay, so here's my thoughts on it. Number one, be a man of your word. Obviously, some people have crossed him. Mm-hmm. They've not only built a bridge with him, but eventually burnt that bridge. Mm-hmm. And so you just never know. So my whole mantra is beware of the ass you kick today for maybe the ass you kiss tomorrow.
Wow.
A lot of these guys are now kissing his ass because they're trying to retract some statements. But again, they're trying to redirect it, but not calling him a liar.
Yeah.
So be careful about the bridges you build, and keep those bridges. Now, you may not cross that bridge again, but don't burn it.
Yeah.
Number two, financial security. So he went on a rant. So this is where I think he's got money saved. Because he went on a rant like he doesn't need a job tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't need an opportunity tomorrow.
Yeah.
So he's got, in his mind, based on his lifestyle, we were talking about earlier, enough money to say F you to everybody.
Yeah. Got the F you money.
He's got F you money. Like Elon Musk. Because what do you say? I turned down $50 million 4 times to protect my to protect my virginity.
yeah, that's wild, man.
He goes, and he said P. Diddy.
Man.
It's like, yo, okay, but he apparently he's got his own money. And he stated that he's doing his 19th 100 city tour. Yeah. So he's created a market for himself.
Yeah.
And so in his budget, in his world, he's got finances. You don't say that type of stuff unless you have your own financial backing. Number 3, earn his stripes. So you can tell the cat's been through a lot of things.
Yeah.
A lot of things. I think he was 13 years old. He was emancipated. He hitchhiked to Florida.
Yeah.
His whole background. But he's got plenty of experience with the good, bad, and the ugly. So he obviously knows his craft.
Yeah.
And he knows his industry. And he knows where a lot of the skeletons are buried.
Yeah.
And the last thing I would say is, it's either you're going to get bitter or you're going to get better. It does sound a little bitter.
Yeah, definitely, Matt. Sound bitter, like a ex-wife, ex-girlfriend. But I can tell you this: great marketing tactic. He can go on tour now.
Oh, for sure.
Think about
That's
it.
it.
Like if he goes on tour and he comes in Dallas, we might get tickets to go.
Of course.
Right? Like I want to hear what you got to say. We want to hey man, this not like this it. You just gonna call him out and go away? No, go on tour, go do a comedy tour, and we'll be there.
What do you guys think about Cat Williams on the Shay Shay Club Shay Shay podcast? Great entertainment. I mean, that's what he does, right? Yeah. They're entertainers. But at the same time, too, I don't know, were relationships burnt? Were bridges burnt? Yeah. Were we crossed things exposed? You talk about Illuminati, Ludacris, Illuminati.
Yeah.
So that was, at the very least, highly entertaining for many of us. And many of you have gotten your conclusions, too, as well. We'd love to know what that is. So with that being said, appreciate you guys here for tuning in to the 7 Figure Squad podcast. Tune in next Wednesday. We've got many new guests here coming up on this podcast. And we got a lot of things in store. We're very excited. The next couple of weeks, we'll be in San Antonio, Texas.
Yes.
We have our own regional kickoff event, Escape the Matrix. We got Les Brown showing up.
Yep.
Got Love and Respect author Dr. Emerson Edgar showing up. We've got Patrick and David obviously showing up. PBD will be showing up. We've got Jeremy Lee Minor, who's in that chair, teaching us professional sales in today's modern era, professional sales techniques in today's modern era. And last but not least, we got Waka Flocka showing up.
Excited for him, man. Gonna get us into some deep and our competitors. They had something to say about
life
insurance and cash value. He didn't do this, so we're gonna clear the air. So if you're out there and you near San Antonio or you across the country and you want to hear the truth, come into to Escape the Matrix.
That's right.
January 30th, right?
That's right.
Matt?
To February 1st, we'll be in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Drop us a DM, drop us a message if you'd like to come. Matter of fact, put down an event, Escape the Matrix, in the comment section below if you want more information about joining us in San Antonio, January 30th to February 1st. That being said, at the very least, if you're watching until this point, please drop a like on this video, drop your comments below in the comment section, and please share this with people that you love and care about if they want to become part of the 7 Figure Squad income level, and obviously the 7 Figure Squad podcast. That being said, God bless you guys. Until we meet again from Dallas, Texas. Continue to live smart, continue to love smart, and be money smart today. See you next week. Bye-bye.